the most cushioned shoe of 2025, the BB V3 New Balance. Cushion everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Can't get over how much cushioning it is, but it's nice. When you got an upper on that's cushioned, your foot is contained in the shoe. Now I like this nice ice cool blue colorway that they've gone with. No irritation from the laces because of how thick and substantial this tongue is. To be fair, I'm just blown away with how much cushioning this thing has. So the way I actually tested these shoes out, on one foot I was double socked, on the other foot single socked, and both of them were extremely comfortable. Now I think at this stage I could have probably tested it out with no socks and still had a good amount of cushioning, but there is a bit of material here. And when we're talking about lockdown, the cushioning works really well with this lacing mechanism in containing that midfoot. But overall, when you're seeing it, you do see that it is quite clunky, but I felt like I was just firm in this shoe. Especially when you crank down on these laces, there's no irritation. The mesh material, it is quite breathable, as you can see here in the mapping, but I was really impressed with how it molded to my foot. These really remind me of the Puma MB04s because of how cushioned they were, except the Pumas have maybe a thicker tongue. These were really up there with how much material there was. Quite impressive, but just consider it might be a little bit heavier than most shoes. Full length Fresh Foam X right throughout. The absolute most cushioned setup I think I've ever felt, but it is actually housed on the outside. The foam has actually got a dual density foam that's encapsulated around it, and that actually provides a good amount of memory foam. I think when you're talking about a shoe like this, it is definitely more suitable to a heavier player, someone that needs a good amount of impact protection, maybe someone that's jumping a lot, going for rebounds a fair bit. This is a really good shoe for that. The midsole also has a TPU midsole plate, which allows to get a little bit of responsiveness. It's not the most responsive shoe because it sits on the heavier side, but the cushioning here just takes over. And to be fair, this, when you compare it to the two-way V5, I think the two-way V5 is probably more the responsive version of this, and this is more the cushion impact protection type. Traction that's got nice deep grooves like this, really nice for an outdoor surface. I think that's something that I really enjoy about New Balance shoes, is that when they do their traction, even though it's a translucent rubber, it's still got a very firm and tough material to it with deep grooves. Not too much of a lateral flange, a little bit of a flange there, but there's enough material there to last on an outdoor surface, which is good. Now, you can also get that exposed TPU unit right in the middle, and it is caged on the medial and lateral side with this plastic material, which does provide a bit of support both medially and laterally, which is good to see. Here in the rear foot, we've got the New Balance logo, and in the forefoot, we've got the exposed midsole. But I think overall, I'd be quite confident to wear these on both indoor and outdoor. And just be mindful, you will be wiping every so often to get a good grip, but it does pick up a little bit of dust, so that's the only downfall I found. Now the rear foot and the fit of this is where it gets a little bit interesting. If you're a wide or extra wide, go true to size. If you are a narrow or normal width ankle, I would be going maybe half a size to a full size lower. Now, although there is a fair amount of material here, I would still consider going down that half a size because the heel slippage can be a little bit of an issue here. Now, there is a lot of material in the rear foot, a good amount of cushioning, both medial, lateral, where that Achilles area is. And to be fair, when you look at the shoe from the top down, it just tends to flare out where the shoe collar is. You're getting a fair bit of flare out. Now, that does fix a little bit when you pull on that shoe collar, but overall the laces can only do so much. So that half a size down, I think with the cushioning, to get that nice snug one-to-one fit, maybe go down half to a full size. But to be fair, I think I'd be trying these on in store just to get a real good feel for them before I go ahead with the purchase. because sizing is a little bit off with these New Balance shoes, and the material, I don't know how well they integrate together, so just consider that if you are looking to pick these up. So I think New Balance has done a really good job with getting this cushioned or jammed up in there, but overall it's a bit too much for me. I like a more responsive shoe like the two-way V5s, and to be fair, these definitely tick a lot of boxes for specific players, right? Because they're so cushioned, they're going to be very comfortable. Maybe not the most nimble shoe. If you're after more of a maximal, nice supportive shoe, these are definitely a great pickup. But overall, if you need a good durable shoe as well, these tick that off too. I think the colorway is nice. I like this kind of colorway, to be fair. I was just hoping for a bit more of a nimble, lower to the ground type of shoe. But yeah, quite a nice experience in these. I will test them out a bit more on the outdoor surface, but consider the sizing issue. So go in stores, try them on. If you get the sizing down right, I think you'll enjoy playing in these. But down below, if you guys have any specific recommendations that you want, any footwear reviews or anything specific you want to see content on, leave it down below. I'll have a look at all the comments. And up here is a nice little playlist that I've put together with all the different footwear reviews that we got. So guys, I'll leave you with that, and I'll see you guys on the next video.